Well, hello. My name is Jeannette Jones, and I am the host of Now You See Me, the show where we redefine beauty from the inside out. You know, when you're dealing with different people that have diseases that causes hair loss, you have a tendency to think, oh, okay, there's no help out there for us. And as I was looking through all of my cabinets and looking through all my little products, I still have my curling iron. I still have all of this paraphernalia for hair. And so I was like, okay, I'm not ready to give this up because I want to know if there's something that maybe later on after I go through treatment that I can do. And I need to know where to go. And so I went a looking and I found Lynnique Marshall, and she is our guest for today. And so, Lynnique, how are you?
I'm
Welcome, welcome.
I'm doing well. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
You are more than welcome. Thank you for coming. So, tell us a little bit about you before we get started.
Yeah, so my name is Lynnique Marshall, and I am a certified trichologist.
Mhm.
I have a background in cosmetology. I've been a cosmetologist for about 27 years, and so I've transitioned to trichology to help support women who are experiencing hair loss.
Ah, okay. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So what made you first want to go into hair in the first place? Because I know it's really a calling. Not everybody can do hair, and not everybody is called to do all the designs and do it right. So what kind of drew you to this particular field in the first place?
Well, I've had a passion for hair since I was a little girl. Hair has always been a passion of mine. I
Mhm.
remember, doing my doll's hair and, wanting to comb and brush my grandmother and my mom's hair. So, it's something that I started,
Mhm.
loving at a young age. And then I progressed in middle and high school to programs that were offered. And so, it's something with that exposure, during the middle and high school years that I just felt like this is my calling. This is what I'm supposed to do.
Awesome.
And so, yeah, it's been a lifelong passion and gift of mine.
Yes, 27 years. That is
Yeah.
definitely a calling and a gift. So, what made you want to transition and move to the next level with trichology?
Well, after, being behind the chair, styling hair, witnessing clients who were experiencing hair thinning and,
Mm-hmm.
different conditions with
Mm-hmm.
inflammation and scalp flaking and things like that. I tried different products to try to help to remedy the problems that they were having. And that didn't seem to be effective. I referred them to medical professionals, dermatologists and things like that.
Right.
And that didn't seem to be effective either for the majority, of the women that I was still, treating. Not treating, I'm sorry, the women that I was working with.
It's
So,
treaty.
yeah, in a sense, yes.
In a
So,
sense, yeah.
yeah, and so with that frustration, of just not being able to, provide the solutions for them to
Mhm.
be able to restore their hair, I began to do my own research. And
Okay.
in my research is when I came across trichology.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and trichology, let me explain what that is. A technical, terminology. It's a paramedical science of the structure, function, and diseases of the human hair and scalp. And so, with that, studying the body and learning how the body works and how it is related to hair growth, we have to go deeper than
Mm-hmm.
just the topical solutions and things like that that are out there. So anyway, when I found out about trichology, I knew that that was something that I wanted to learn because I wanted to be able to help to support the clients that I was working with.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, let's say I'm walking in, I've gone through whatever process I'm going to go through, and I'm going to need your services. What what is the procedure? What's normal for clients? Well, as they from start to finish, I guess.
From start to finish, well, the first of all, I typically start with a consultation. The
Mhm.
consultation is that's what's used so that I can actually get to the root cause of what's causing the
Mhm.
hair loss.
Mhm.
You know, if we don't know what's going on with the, proper assessment of
Yeah.
the root causes, then there not going to be much success, in any other forms of
Right.
solutions out there. So the first process is the consultation, where I do blood work, analyzing blood work on a functional level to determine just exactly, what factors a person is dealing with. And then, with that, it could be a number of things that, contribute to it. It could be vitamin and mineral deficiencies. There could
Mhm.
be inflammation. There could be gut problems. We know about hormones when we get to a certain age.
All
And our
right.
hormones start to shift, and things just kind of go out of
Mhm.
whack. There's so many
Mhm.
factors, and so the consultation will allow me to assess what's going on internally as well as lifestyle factors. We have to look at diet, stress. We as women, we deal with a lot of stress, you know um and sleep, things like that. Those are the things that we really have to take into consideration, looking at the body as a whole
Yes.
and
Yeah.
not just what we see, externally is our hair loss.
Okay, Lynnique. So you mentioned the steps in the consultation. There's another part in there in terms of the actual trichology portion. I know that you have different scenarios, different types of conditions. What are the steps? What are the options that are available to people when they come to see you?
Yes. So once the individual has completed the consultation, then we discuss treatment options. And like you mentioned, there are different conditions, different types of hair loss conditions that people deal with. So based on what is assessed during the consultation,
Mhm.
they'll have the option to opt into one of my many treatment programs. But just to condense things, the treatment options really, the first part of treatment is the internal part of it. So
Mhm.
based on the blood work and the assessment, any imbalances or nutritional deficiencies and things like
Mhm.
that, they may come up in their blood work. I provide an internal protocol that
Mhm.
includes, it may include supplements, vitamins, nutritional dietary changes, and lifestyle changes. And so that's the focus of the internal protocols. And then the second part of treatment is the external. So I actually, provide products and that are all herbal, organic, natural products to help to stimulate hair growth externally,
Mhm.
as well as different tools, because there are different tools and implements that are needed and used to be able to, provide oxygen and increase blood
Mhm.
flow to the hair follicle. So it's really twofold, where we work internally and externally to recover and promote hair growth.
Okay. All right. So let's say you go through and you give this person this regimen for them to go
Yeah.
through. Have you how far within in the regimen will you be able to know if the that particular plan is working for that person?
Well, typically within 6 weeks, with doing both things, you should start to see new hairs growing in. And that's depending on, if the individual is doing their part, making those, dietary changes and the
Mhm.
lifestyle changes and taking the supplements and things like
Mhm.
that, then yes, within 6 weeks, you should start to notice a difference. And the treatment plans are 12 weeks long, starting out. That's the baseline for treatment. And within the 3 month or 12 week, time frame, you should be able to notice very noticeable results during that time.
Okay.
And of
Awesome.
course, the treatment differs from individual to individual, because if you've been
Mhm.
experiencing hair loss for many years, it may take longer than 3 months. It
Mhm.
may be needs to be extended, in order to get to optimal results. But within that 12-week time frame, you will be able to notice results as long as you're doing your part.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Now, I live in Germany and you are in the States. So would you be able to, let's say I get ready for my consultation, will you be able to do it virtually?
Absolutely, absolutely. I understand that everybody is not local here where I am, and so
Mhm.
I do offer virtual consultation as well as virtual treatment options, where the individuals who, like you, who are out of the country, can be able to get help as well. So
Okay.
that's a good part about it.
Awesome, awesome. So I know you already mentioned about the blood work and things that I would need to do. So how far in advance would I need to send you, or anybody from any state would need to send you their blood results?
So as long as the blood work has been done within a 3 month time frame,
Okay.
specifically within 3 months, because that's a picture of your health currently, you would just go ahead and send that over. I have a pre-consultation form that
Mhm.
is sent out, and in that
Okay.
form, you're able to upload a copy of your blood work, because I would need that information prior to the actual consultation. And so during the consultation, we'll go over, the results of the functional blood chemistry analysis, which is, the assessment that
Right.
is used based
Mhm.
on your blood work.
But being when you think hair salon, you think about just women. So who do you treat it right now? Are you just treating just women? Do you get the varied gender uh in your services in your salon?
Yes, so my primary focus is women, because I am a woman, and so I empathize and I understand what we deal with
Yeah.
as women. But I
Mhm.
do not discriminate. So I also treat men as well.
Mhm.
So yes, and I also treat children. I treat children as well. So like I said, I don't discriminate. But with I do have a specialty in women, but I do treat men as
Mm.
well as children.
Right. And I asked the question simply because men don't normally want to go in and do something like this. Maybe, feeling a little reserved. So you mentioned children. You mentioned children. Under what conditions have you treated them? I mean, what were they dealing with as you were treating them? What was the condition?
Well, I did have one specific case that I'll share, and she was 13,
Mhm.
a 13-year-old, and she was
Mhm.
dealing with some patches of hair loss, not to the point where it was balding, but the hair would grow and it would break. And so, with that going on, trying protective styles, with braids and things like that. It's like the hair would be okay for a time, but once she, got rid of the protective styles and started to wear her own hair, the hair was dry, brittle, and it would break.
Okay.
And so through my assessment, I was able to determine that she had some vitamin deficiencies going on, which wasn't allowing her hair to stay in the, proper hair growth cycle. And
Right, right, right.
sometimes it's simple, sometimes it's complex, but typically with children, it really just depends. But most of the times it's, again, going back to that, assessing what's going on internally, because yes, it could be, some type of hairstyling practices, poor hairstyling practices can contribute to hair loss. But, a lot of the times it's something internal going on as well. So in her case, she was able to regrow her hair, nice and strong and healthy, by just making simple dietary changes and adding a multivitamin in, and to really provide her body what it needed, what it was missing.
Okay. Okay. What's the pathway what pathway did you go through in order to become a trichologist? And what are the recommendation, I guess the prerequisites for somebody who may want to go into that direction with their own business, their own career?
Yes. So my background, or the trichology background, the certification program that I went through, is through the World Trichology Society. And it was a self-paced program where a lot of the education was done virtually, and then having to travel to New York for a week to do clinical training and things like that. So that's where I started for my training. Typically, with most of the programs, you will find a lot of hairstylists move in that direction, to get trichology certification. But it's not limited to hairstylists. There are even doctors who, get
Okay.
training, especially in trichology. So there are different programs that are available out there, but the program that I decided to go with was through the World Trichology Society for my
Okay.
initial training.
You've been in business now 27 years, trichologist for some of those years. What is, I guess, what is the best testimony or testimonies can you share with us about some results that you've gotten um, through your services?
Yeah, so I had one client, and she came to me after going through dermatologists and things like that, trying different products, and just wasn't getting any results through those methods. And so she had patches of hair loss, which was assessed to be, there was some scarring going on there, but in my assessment, I was able to see that it wasn't so significant that she could not get coverage. She didn't have the best diet. She had some stressors going on,
Yeah.
but through analyzing her blood work, I was able to you know find that, and she was also taking some prescription medications. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And
Okay.
that's something that is important to note, because when we talk about prescription medications, yes, individuals may have to take prescriptions for high blood pressure and things like that. But with the prescription medications, also bring um, drug into drug induced nutrient deficiencies. And
Okay.
so, those are things that can impact, your hair growth. And so with that, she did have some mineral and vitamin deficiencies that were
Mm-hmm.
assessed through her blood work. And I was able to recover, her health by discovering those things that were, that came up in her blood work, and providing her with dietary changes and the vitamin supplements she needed in order to get her hair growing back into its proper hair growth cycle. And
Okay.
so there was a time she was wearing wigs. And so by the time she finished working with me, we were able to regrow enough hair so that she did not have to wear wigs to feel comfortable leaving the house again. So,
Yeah.
she was very happy to be able to, rebuild her confidence and restore
Yeah.
her overall health. So
Yes.
it was a win. It's a win-win. It's more than just regrowing hair, because of course when you're experiencing hair loss, that's something that you desire, but understanding that it takes more than just applying a topical or things like that. Let's look at the health. Let's
Mhm.
look at what's going on internally. And so
Mhm.
that way you're optimizing your health and living a healthier lifestyle, which
Mhm.
allows for our hair to grow like it's supposed to.
Exactly, exactly. So have you had to, I guess, partake of your own services at some point? Did you have an issue yourself at any juncture in this?
Yes.
Okay.
I actually experienced hair thinning, which wasn't necessarily evident to other people.
Mhm.
But I began to notice that, hey, my hair is not as thick as it used to be. And so, I've always had a vitamin D deficiency for many
Mhm.
years.
Mhm.
And I am now one who likes to take vitamins and supplements. Well, I used to be that way. And
Mhm.
so I was inconsistent in taking, the vitamin D supplement that my doctor told me to take. And so it wasn't until I got into the trichology that I really understood, like, oh my gosh, like
Yeah.
the vitamin D, the importance of vitamin D, and how it actually affects hair growth, and deficiencies
Wow.
can, contribute to hair thinning. And so I was able, to reverse the hair thinning. My hair has gotten a lot thicker because I'm eating more foods, and eating a healthier diet and taking a vitamin
Yeah.
supplement. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I had to deal with some hair
Yeah.
thinning, issues myself.
Yeah. And it's really, really almost nerve wracking, especially when we know how important it is for that outside appearance. And
Yeah,
we don't want anybody to know about our hair and our hair loss or it's thinning, or we change the style and we should comb it over here this way so people can't say anything and people can't see. And so this is a fabulous this is fabulous information for anyone, period, and especially for those of us who are in situations like mine and some others where we are bald, but we got some hope. We
yeah,
got some hope. But
absolutely.
I would say this seems to be very rewarding for you. um I just can see that you have a passion for it, and you want people in this particular field to have a passion for what they're doing. They're looking at your hair, they're thinking about not only just the outside, but what's going on the inside too. And you had already mentioned, and just you dealing with your own situation, so you can totally empathize with what's going on with somebody else. And so, that being said, is there anything else that you want to leave us with today?
Yes. Well, like you said, I am very passionate, about spreading the awareness of trichology as an alternative, and a natural solution to help to recover from hair loss. I understand the emotional, mental, toll that it takes when, a person loses their hair and are not, it's frustrating, not knowing why, or not being able to successfully, overcome. And so, my goal is to spread the awareness. I am passionate about it because I really know that there are other solutions out there. And when you talk about your health and, just turning things around, mind, body, and spirit, there is hope. There is hope for hair loss.
Yes, yes, most definitely. And so, looking here, I'm just going to put this up so people can see you. There she is, Lynnique Marshall. She's the missing link preventing hair growth. She finds the missing link rather that's preventing hair growth. She's at Divine Designs Hair Loss Solutions. They're in Richmond, and that's her telephone number. You can find her on Instagram at Your Hair Loss Ally. Okay.
Yes. And Jeanette, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Can I share this? I also have a
Yeah.
free resource that's available, 7 ways
Oh.
to improve hair growth. So it's a free downloadable guide, and that can be
Mhm.
accessed through my Instagram page, which it will lead you to my website. And so it's a
Okay.
free resource, 7 ways to improve hair growth
Okay,
for those
guys. See
listening.
right there in the blue, it says Your Hair Loss Ally. And also, you can go to www.divinedesigns.hls.com, and you have additional information. Okay, people. So now you have it. That's a wonderful resource available to you. For those in the Richmond area, you can go by the shop or call and set up a consultation. I recommend it. And I just love her passion. I just love your passion, Lynnique, for it. And so I know that you're going to do monumental things with the people that enter that particular establishment. So I am so glad you came on. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you so
you so
much.
much for having me.
All right. And you have just seen another episode of Now You See Me. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Bye bye. The name of my company is Transparency Consulting, and I am the dream coach. I help women to dig up those lost and buried dreams. See, to me, dream fulfillment is transitioning from one level to the other. On my own journey, I allowed wrong mindsets and wrong patterns in conjunction with other people's opinions to deter me from what I really wanted to do and the confidence to do it. And on the outside, it looked like I was doing my thing, but on the inside, I was subconsciously concerned and overly concerned with other people's opinions. It took me decades to unlearn these wrong patterns and to try to relearn the proper way to think to be aligned with God. Sometimes when we get to be middle age, we think that the dreams are, it's too late rather for the dreams. But that's not true. That's not true at all. So we're going to take those dreams and we're going to blow the dust off of them. Because they've been sitting on the shelf for way too long. And so we're going to go first, remove all the fog, remove all the confusion and the wrong thinking patterns. Then we're going to dig up those dreams and say, okay, this is what you really wanted to do. Then we're going to set some short-term goals and we're going to set some long-term goals on how we're going to accomplish this thing in your life. Lastly, once we get that going and you're moving and shaking, you will reign. REIGN. I invite you to go to my website, www.transparencyconsulting.com, and sign up for a 15-minute free session. Then we can talk a little and see how I can help you accomplish your dreams and set those goals. Also available on the website is my book, Out of Line. And you can download that book because it's about repositioning your walk with God. And it goes through a process where I am describing some things that were brought out and explaining why I act the way that I act. And also, it includes some nuggets that I gathered along the way that I think will be a blessing to you. I look forward to hearing from you.